So this is principle number 7. This is the last of the 7 ways to build trust and rapport with people, and I really hope that you're applying these. I hope that you're actually focusing on a single principle every day. I promise you from here on out I'm not going to beat you over the head with that over and over again, but it's very important in those first few days, that first week especially, to start applying some of this stuff in the real world. If you haven't yet started to do that, if basically you're listening to these videos or watching these videos and not really applying the principles in the real world yet, start over. Go back and start the thing over and really make a conscious effort to apply these things, and you'll get much better results. So principle number 7 is you want to be a good listener. Now this is, a lot of times people think this is really one of the most important things related to building trust and rapport, and it's vital, it's very important, but every one of those other principles that we've covered up until this point are also equally as important. For instance, you might be a good listener, but if we're criticizing people, it's not going to work very well. Or we might be a good listener, but if we're not looking at things from the other person's point of view, people aren't going to feel like that we're listening to them, right? So these things all work and they intertwine with each other very effectively. So there are a few things that you can do to help you be a better listener. The first thing that we have to do is we have to really focus on the other person and not ourselves. It's really principle number 2, looking at things from the other person's point of view. You're more likely to be seen as being a very empathetic listener if you're looking at things from the other person's point of view. But there are physical things that you can do to kind of show that you're really listening effectively to people. Like for instance, your body language shows whether or not people think, whether or not you're making a conscious effort to listen to people, right? So, like for instance, in my first my first kind of home office, the way that the room was set up, I had my desk set up kind of like what this one is, where the door was coming in. And so basically, if somebody was coming into that door and asking me a question, I would be typing on my computer or something like that. I would just kind of turn like this. When we're turned away from the person, even if it's halfway away, they're going to be seeing us as really not being a good listener. So the first thing you want to do is kind of square your shoulders up with the person. So, like for instance, if my desk is set this way and you come into my office, I'm going to turn so that my shoulders are kind of square. The next thing that you want to do is you want to be on the same level. Like for instance, if somebody comes into your office and you're seated and they're standing, offer them a seat, and they're going to at least it's going to give the appearance that you're listening at a better level. And then also that eye contact, look them in the eye when they're talking to you. So doing those 3 things, it will really help you not only appear as though you're listening more effectively, but if you're doing all 3 of those 3 things, it's almost impossible to not listen at that point. So basically, if you want to really be seen as being a good listener and you want to become a better listener, turn your shoulders to the person, look them directly in the eye, and get at their level, and they're going to see you as being a more powerful listener and a more powerful leader.